we will start with some basics, some like introductory PowerPoints here to EFAS for all of you new members and partners to understand what it's all about. Maybe you already know, but it's always good to have to hear it a couple of times before it's really there. And we'll see here. We can start at the top with the hydrologic and the meteorological data collection centers. We have a Spanish consortium that collects hydrological data. They also handle the contacts and the managing of the data observations that comes in from all of your partners. And but the license conditions and the contracts and all that's taken care of by the GRC. And also the meteorological data collection center that is taken care of by Kisters and Deutsche Wetterdienst. Sorry, my German is not 100%. Yes, that's about it. We can go to the next point there, the EFAS Computational Center. It's the center in the UK, the ECMWF. The ECMWF, they are responsible for running all the meteorological and hydrological forecasts, and they're also responsible to keep the EFAS website up and running 24/7, 365 days a year. And they're also in charge of guaranteeing this service, and you're supposed to ask, all of us are supposed to ask questions to them regarding all the technical issues. And if we go to the EFAS Dissemination Center, we are actually 3 centers in this center part. And it's the Rijkswaterstaat in Holland, the Slovakian Hydrological and Meteorological Center in Slovakia, Bratislava, and also SMHI that I represent, the Swedish Meteorological and Hydrological Institute. And we are responsible for all the daily analysis of the forecasts that the ECMWF produces. And we're also in charge of sending out notifications based on all these forecasts to all of you. We're also responsible for maintaining the EFAS partner network to sign contracts and contact new partners and keeping the existing network up to date. And we're also responsible for organizing these EFAS annual meetings, and we had one, as I said, in Seville just 1 month or 2 months ago, and that was under the responsibility of SHMU. It was carried out perfectly, I would say. We also represent the EFAS community in workshop and conferences. That is also the responsibility for the GRC, the Joint Research Center in Ispra in Italy, and they're also responsible for development of EFAS and the coordination of all the centers. And we're all answering to the European Commission. So let's head on to slide number 3. Here is a slide for all you guys, talking about partners. So an EFAS partner is someone that is in charge of a national, regional, or local authority, and you are like providing flood forecasts and or disseminating information to your respective states. And it's not really clear. In some countries we have several partners, and in some countries we only have one. So in some countries it's more a regional regional thing, disseminating warnings and such. So, for example, in Spain we have a lot of partners, and in Sweden it's only us, SMHI. But it's not, even though the EFAS is funded by the European Commission, it's not a prerequisite to be a European Union member. Everyone in Europe and around is free to join the EFAS community. And let's see what else I was supposed to say here. As I said, we are disseminating warnings to all EU partners and notifications. Now, it was called watches and warnings before, but now it's notifications. Still, the word is not really in there, but hopefully it will be. And it's free for you to join EFAS, but in return, EFAS would like you to share your observational data, like meteorological and hydrological station network. And at the moment, we have more than 6,000 near real-time stations when it comes to meteorological observations. And we also have almost 700 calibrated subcatchments all over Europe. So it seems to be a good network, but of course it can expand. And also we have something called third parties and research partners. And third partners, that can be national authorities with support from the EFAS. That's national authorities that's not in charge of disseminating warnings and all, but they may join EFAS if accepted by the main EFAS partner. And if so, they're also allowed to use EFAS, but then as a third party. And also we have some research partners, and then it's a bit more complicated how we accept them. Then we need to ask all of you partners if a research like university or something would like to join EFAS, then we need to ask all of you if it's okay to give them permission, and if yes, they will have permission, and if no, we have to make some further investigation into the subject and see if they will be available to have it or not. Now we have a research partner from Ireland, for example, and I've asked for input from all of you, and we'll see how it turns out in the end, if they can join or not. But EFAS is not accessible for consulting and commercial or public purposes. And this was a very nice photo, I think, taken from the annual meeting. Really nice. Let's skip to the next slide that I just had to show. It's not football emblems, but it's more emblems from, I think, maybe not, I didn't count them, but I hope it's up to date. Maybe some of you are missing. But anyway, we are more than 50 partners right now, covering 29 countries, and still the partner network is growing. At the moment, we have Greece attending, Portugal attending, and Israel attending an EFAS partnership. I hope the contract will be signed and taken care of as soon as possible. And I want to wish you an extra welcome to this presentation. I hope you will get out something from it. We're also having discussion with Switzerland, Belarus, and some Hungarian water institutes. They were around 7 or 12, I think. So as I said, there can be plenty of partners in one country or just one. So I think that's about it. The partner network is growing. Let's go to the next slide. It's a bit of a summary, just to state it once and for all. Like the objective of EFAS, we can start with that. It's to provide complementary added value flood early warning and monitoring products to to improve the preparedness and emergency response of relevant stakeholders. And how is this done? Yeah, hopefully it's done by added value, transnational medium range flood forecasts, and daily overview to partners, ERCC and the ERC. And the EFAS community collects hydrological and meteorological data, which is used to run the LIS flood model, the hydrological model, twice a day. And from that we disseminate notifications. And after sending out notifications, we have 3 different notifications actually, but we only collect feedback from the formal notification, it's called. I will go through that a bit later. The last slide is about notifications and the difference between them. But from after we have sent a formal flood notification, we are supposed to contact the partner that we sent it to and ask for feedback. Like we're asking some questions on the magnitude, the time of the event, did it happen or did it not, and etc. etc. And before we sent it out as a Word document via email. But now we are going to use a website called SurveyMonkey. It's you can see the figure up there to the right. We're going to use that now, and we asked you, all the partners that attended the annual meeting, we asked you how to improve this feedback, because it's important that you think the questions are relevant and it's like a good amount of questions, not too much to answer, etc. And now we have assembled all your thoughts, and we have come up with a new feedback, which I hope is going to get a lot better. And we're actually going to start with this new type of collecting feedback any moment now. We have an account at SurveyMonkey, and it's just the last things to be set, and then we will start. But first we need to know the website ourselves. Hopefully we'll do it soon. So also annual meeting, as I already talked a lot about, it has a return period of 1 year, as the name might say, and we meet at different countries every year. It's not the same. I don't know actually where the next meeting will be, but we'll see. We will call you and tell where to meet next year. And also we have something called the EFAS Bulletin, which is a bi-monthly bulletin. It is disseminated from the ECMWF, as you can see on the picture there, and it contains a lot of different stuff. It contains news about EFAS, about like different surveys that EFAS members has done, and to see the satisfaction from your partners about it, and new developments, of course, related projects, and case studies on different flood events throughout Europe. And it's also it has you have received it in a PDF on the website before, but now what's it called? It's supposed to change to get a bit modernized, just as with the survey of feedback. So we'll see how it will turn out. I think it's going to change before the end of this year anyway. And we also have a new thing which Peter Solomon at ERC has promoted. It's about EFAS training, EFAS physical training, not only meetings like this, webinars. It's a time for a partner to ask for a physical training, to ask a member from the EFAS Dissemination Center, for example, to come and talk about EFAS and how to use EFAS to get the most out of it. And it's supposed to be free, and everything is paid by EFAS, and it's mainly for new partners, but we'll see what the interest is. But hopefully all of you will ask for this. and maybe we'll meet and talk more about EFAS face-to-face. And as I said before, this is the first webinar this year, and it's another coming up this autumn, and then it's going to be more about EFAS flash floods. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about the flash floods. And also we have done some instructional videos. They are also found on EFAS webpage. Now there are 3, but there will be another 3 coming, and they will be a lot like this webinar, I think, going through the basics of the information system. And we're coming to that soon, but first we'll talk a little bit about the processing chain just fast. Maybe I'm talking too much now. So we'll try to go through this quickly so we can go into the interface, since I guess you have other important stuff coming up after 11. So here's a schematic picture of EFAS and the chain, how everything is done here from start to end. And as you see, it's a cycle more or less. So we can start here with the input data that comes into the model. It's like, for example, soil parameters, land use, the sub-basin areas and stuff, and also, of course, the initial conditions coming in from meteorological observations, which are crucial for the model to work, with the forecasts, of course, the meteorological ones that also comes into the model, which the model uses LISFLOOD, as I said. And from the results of LISFLOOD, they are assembled and turned into graphics on the interface, where the results can be seen, both as maps and as graphs. And yeah, we'll look at that later, how much we can see there. And from this, we turn the information into notification and an overview. I didn't mention that before, but we also send out an overview, which most of you already know, containing information about the forecasts and possible notifications. And this notification goes to you, all you EFAS members, which may use it or may not, depending on what you think. And then you might take action or not, depending on what you think about the situation and what your own models say. And then it goes around. So of course, the expert knowledge. You know about your regional basins more than we do. As we will talk more about later, we are not disseminating warnings based on consequence. It's more on a statistical measure with return periods. So yeah, let's not talk too much about this. Let's go to the next slide. And here I will show you some of the weather forecasts. Currently, EFAS is running on multiple forecasts coming in. We have 2 deterministic models and 2 ensemble models. One is coming from the German DWD and the other from the center. And when it comes to the ensembles, it's also one from the center and one from a consortium. The model itself is called COSMOLEPS, and the consortium consists of members from the central part of Europe mostly. I wrote a quick sheet note here with the members from Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Greece, Poland, Romania, and Russia, from what I understand. And it focuses more on the central part of Europe, and when I looked at the extent of it. So, for example, in northern part of Sweden, it's not really there yet, but maybe it will not be either. But anyway, as you can see here, if we collect all these members, we are coming up into a number of 69. So for each run, we have 69 forecasts. And since the LISFLOOD is run twice a day, we have a total number of 138 forecasts to look at every day. And as you all see, the spatial extent of the models and also the time extent of the forecasts are all different. So let's head on to the next slide. Here we will talk about the thresholds that I just mentioned a little bit briefly on the couple of slides before. As I said, we base our notifications on statistical measures, not on consequence. We'll see if that change or not, if we will keep it as a statistical measure or not, but for the moment it's like that anyway. And how do we do this then? We base this, we feed the list flood with meteorological observations. I think it's from the latest 22 years. Then we run list flood with this information, and the list flood produces discharge time series, and from that we can calculate return periods of certain flows in every basin. And then we'll get some thresholds from these return periods, and currently in EFAS, as you see there, we're using a threshold of 2 years, 5 years, and 20 years. 20 years is we're calling it severe, and the 5-year return period, we're using that to disseminate our notifications. So that's the minimum to disseminate a notification. A return period of 2 years, then we are aware of it, but we're not disseminating information about it. So that might be good to know. And of course, since it's not consequence-based, maybe a return period of 5 years is very crucial in one place, but in another place, maybe it won't happen anything. Like in the southern part of Sweden, for example, you can have a return period of 2 years and everything turns into chaos. But if you go to northern part of Sweden, we can have a return period of maybe 30 years and no one cares, everything is cool. So that's the pros and that's the cons with the return periods. So let's head on to, I think this is the last slide. Then we'll jump into the interface. And let's take a closer look now on the different notifications that we use. As I said, we're now calling it notifications, and before it was alerts and watches. And for the biggest one, you might say, we call it a formal notification. And to disseminate a formal notification, we need the area must be covered by a condition of access to start with, and also the catchment area needs to be more than 2,000 square kilometers. Before I think it was 4,000, but now we have just changed it to 2,000. And also the event must be in a couple of days ahead of us, at least 48 hours. And also the forecast must be persistent. It's not like jumpy forecast, just with when it goes up and down all the time. That's not that good, of course. So we have to have a persistency of 3 forecasts in a row that forecast the flow to be more than 30% of the members need to exceed the high level threshold for us to disseminate a notification. And this is according to VARPS then, the ECMWF model. And also at least one of the deterministic forecasts also needs to exceed the high threshold. So we have 2 models there too that needs to go above this threshold of 5 years. But if some of these, we have a couple of points there, if some of these, or one or some of these doesn't match, doesn't go, or the criteria is no good, then we need to disseminate informal notification, of course, if we want to disseminate a notification. But let's say we want to. So catchment size, lead time, forecast, persistence, whatever, if any one of those isn't saying it's a notification, then we won't disseminate a notification, not a formal one. Then it will be an informal one. Or maybe if we don't believe the model, if it's we don't believe the snow melt, for example, since that happened this winter, when the model predicted a lot of snow melt, but in the end it didn't turn out that good. So yeah, then the expert knowledge of the forecaster is crucial. And also we have since, I think it's since 2 years, since 2014, we also disseminate something called EFAS flash flood notifications, and that's also only for countries in the condition of access. That's covered by the condition of access. And to disseminate a EFAS flash flood notification, we need to have a forecasted certainty of more than 35%. It's run by Cosmolabs, I think, so 16 members, and 35% of these must be above the threshold to forecast it. And also, it's not, it's very like close in time. We need to be at least, it needs to be at least 3 days in advance. But sometimes it's only hours in advance, since this is very hard to forecast, partly because of the meteorological forecast and the jumpy forecasts, and the spatial resolution, of course. And before we used something called European, now we are using something called the European Run-Up Index Climatology, ERIC, and before it was called EPIC. I don't know exactly the difference here, but it's something to do with the model setup. And yeah, we'll talk more about this when we're having the second seminar this year. Only flash floods then. And also the area needs to be covered with by more than 25. The area covered must be at least 25 square kilometers for us notification to be sent. And all this information, all the notifications, they are put into the ERCC overview, and which we disseminate to partners and to the ERCC, that is the Emergency Response Coordination Center. We'll take a quick look on that when we go into the interface as well. And if there's a severe event, then a state partner can demand help from the ERCC, which I want to show with that little figure down there. And I think it's been done at least once, down in the Balkans, I think, 2 years from now, 2 years earlier, 2014. And yes, that's all.